And then off that, this is the final point I wanted to get to. So those are different ways of selling, like DCAing out. Christopher brings up a great point. This is what you can do then after that. So to kind of complete the whole thing, like you're at the top of the bull market, you scale out or don't, based on whatever your decision is. Is there a stablecoin earning protocol on PulseChain? Yeah, we've talked about it. I mean, recently we've talked about it over the last few weeks. They just launched these on PulseX, like 3 weeks ago, maybe I would say. Ewok has participated in them, where there are stable pools there now, where when you're DCAing out, if you think it's a few month-long process, you can start to put those stables, whatever it is you happen to have, whether you sold into DAI, USDC, Tether, whatever you have, you can pull whatever you've got into the stablecoin pool, which takes those 3 tokens and will pay you back yield in whatever is needed of those 3 tokens. So I know you've actually been doing it, Ewok, so you can even talk more specifically, but it's one of it may be the singular best edition upgrade that we've seen to PulseX yet. I know we've talked about a lot of them over the last few weeks, but that's going to be huge. It's huge for whales right now that may be coming into the ecosystem. I want to put stables in there, but for us, whenever we're scaling out, I mean, I can't say enough about it. I'm so glad it's there. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I love it. I think it's a great thing. And you don't have to enter, like with a lot of your pools that you're entering, as far as entering liquidity, where you have to keep a ratio. It's not like that. You can put, $500 of DAI in, and it will eventually even out for you. To every trade that kind of happens, you'll end up with some Tether, some USDC, and some DAI. Like it'll constantly change, but you'll always have that amount in there, and you're earning yield. So there absolutely is no impermanent loss. And what happens is the fees that you earn are automatically compounded in. Like you don't ever get to see the fees. So it's not like you can just withdraw your fees that you're making like you could on Uniswap, for example, when you place a pair, right? There's always that option to withdraw the fees or add them in. With this one, it just automatically compounded. So I think it's great. I think it definitely helps for people that are trying to go from one coin into another stable coin. But the liquidity may be only in DAI, so it will work its way through the DAI and then trade it into there from the pairs that we have, so that you can get into USDC if you want to, without any further slippage once you get into to the other asset. So yeah, I think it's a great way, and I think people are earning 8 or 10% at this point.
It's pretty good,
which is darn good. Especially then you don't have to leave the ecosystem, so the money stays there. It's a good way to support the ecosystem, still earn a nice percentage, and you can take some out periodically if you need to. It's so easy to remove. So you have $50,000 in there, and you want to remove $1,000 for something, or $2,000 or whatever. It's a great feature. For PulseX. So you have to go into PulseX, and I believe you click on
liquidity.
It's liquidity, and then there's I think it's pools then, and it's the first one there. That's the only liquidity pool I think that automatically comes up at first. So
yeah, it is a great tool to have, and like you said, Ewok, because many people, myself included, we've thought about okay, well, if I do scale a little bit out, at the top of the bull market and want to park stables somewhere to earn yield, there's many places to do that, but they may be foreign to you. And of course you absolutely don't want to be dealing with any middlemen of any type. Like that was really the scams of the last cycle, like Celsius and whatever the hell else. I don't even remember them all, but stuff like that. Yeah. Where you're trading your keys in a situation like Celsius. But yeah, to keep that in the DeFi protocol that you're already familiar with and earn that yield is freaking fantastic. So I'm so glad that's been added to PulseX. So that is going to be there as well.
Yeah, and the one thing I did, like I said, I put $200 in there just to see what it was like. I just wanted to track it for a little while. It wasn't that now is definitely not the time to be parking stable coins in this thing,
right?
Unless you've got money. You know, obviously you can get much better gains throughout the cycle somewhere else. But when the time came, I wanted to know how to use it, and that is one of the things why I played with liquid loans. You know, I did remove my loan at one point when things were really going down because I just didn't want to take the risk. But you know, you should always play with these things before you have to use them so that you don't do anything foolish when the time comes. So you know, that's what I did. I learned it, and I think it's a great protocol. It's super easy to use. It's very straightforward. The only thing was that I couldn't figure out is where are my fees until I started I did a spreadsheet of, okay, on this date, I have this much DAI, this much USDC, and this much Tether. On this date, I have this much, this much, this much. And I'm like, oh, well, it's all gone up. And I figured out the yield, and you know, the next week it was a little bit more, and the next week it was a little bit more. So that's what I did to figure it out. That yeah, it just gets compounded right back in. So pretty cool. Yes, Richard has high yielding piggy banks everywhere, and it's you know, it's pretty awesome. It'll only get better, I think.